I was a wolf cub when I arrived in England from South Africa in the Wood Pigeon Patrol. On my honour, I promised to do my best to God and the Queen, to help other people at all times, sir. I hate to say it, but in the army, the Arab army, they did, when they ran out of goats, which we carried in the Bedford 3-ton lorry, they did shoot a dubby, which is a gazelle, a Thompson's gazelle. They did shoot one and they did cook it, and I did eat it, but I didn't really approve of doing it. Yeah, I mean, obviously in Arabia, in 3 years in the army, we were sleeping under the stars the whole time, and in the desert there, the stars really were stars. I'd spent a lot of time doing navigation at the Army School of Navigation in Hermitage, and they would take us out at night, and in between the cloudy bits, when you were waiting for the stars to reappear in a particular quadrant, one would then sometimes fall asleep, although you're not meant to, right under the particular named stars, not just stars generally. Many times, in the Cold War in Germany, I was in charge of the canoe team in the Scottish Regiment. We had 12 canoes on each adventure training trip, and one of them, which was up the Danish coastline, I hadn't realised it in advance at all, that there was a nudist camp on the beach where we canoed past, and it was impossible to get the Scots soldiers not to stop there. So I therefore was forced to stop there. We naturally, out of being polite, removed our shorts. Yep, in the grounds on Exmoor for my stepson, who was 9 then, he's 22 now. We did build it, but my wife, his mum, didn't like the way you climbed up to where we built it. It was just 6-inch nails. You put your foot on something, and when he was 9, you slip and get a nail down the side. So that got bad marks, but the house is still standing. I've been lost in London on a day you couldn't see the sun. On the way to the South Pole, dead simple. You make sure that you set out in such a way that the sun is always at midday behind you, and then you don't have to use anything other than the position of your shadow. Normally there'd be 3 of us doing the big polar expeditions, and I would make sure that the one behind me was a mile behind me, and the one behind him was a mile behind him. I would look backwards and take the bearing of the last hour, and if it was a degree out, I'd offset the next by a degree in the opposite direction. And we did 2,500 miles without a feature, with virtually no error whatsoever. Chased. I've been chased by an Aberdeen Angus bull belonging to my wife on Exmoor, and really surprised myself how quickly I ran for the fence. It, for some reason, came to a halt. Sometimes they just bash through the fences. I climbed Everest to the summit, but on the 3rd attempt. I tried from Tibet, and on the very last night, 300 meters from the summit, after 2 months playing around, I got a massive angina attack where I'd had a double bypass, and so I didn't get to the top. I tried again from the easy side, that's Nepal. We came across the body of my Sherpa's father, and we came across the body of a Scottish friend of mine, and then we came to the body of a Swiss climber, and they were burying him. But the next year, 2009, and I knew that this was my last chance to beat the world record of being the first human to cross both ice caps and climb Everest. I had to do it that year, basically. So I became the first OAP to do it. I got the world record for the 3 poles, as they call it. All the Daily Mail said, typical, was, well, it was dead easy for him because he had a bus pass. I was contracted to write a book called My Heroes. I selected a cold hero, Captain Scott, tried to make out all the lies which had been told about him by people who've never been there. And I found a hot hero, a bloke called Thesiger. My vehicular hero, Land Rover. With my Scottish cousin, Greville, we hitchhiked all over the place. I remember when we were going to Paris, in the UK it was dead easy in those days, but on the other side it was quite difficult. But Greville was a Scotsman, and he had said what would be good, because we didn't have any money in those days, was if we take our kilts, we'll be able to sing in Paris in restaurants and make a bit of money, sort of thing. And people from behind, lorry drivers in France, might think we're women, but they didn't. So he said, I know what it is. And we fashioned headscarves, and from behind we must have looked female, because this Yorkshire bloke stopped his lorry. To begin with, he was very angry when he saw it was two males, but after a bit he saw the funny side, and we got all the way to the outskirts of Paris.